Everybody, Obey the Papaya back at you again with another YouTube video. So this YouTube video is a little bit of some item tips, tricks, and info that you will need to know for Predecessor. So it's not gonna be like an item build guide. These are just important items in the current meta and things that is just super important to build, to consider, things that you may not know, and to kind of give some explanation, especially for the new players that are coming in. Um, and yeah, let's get started. So tainted items. This actually a post on Reddit was discussing tainted items. Um, and people were complaining about people not getting them and who should get them and whatnot, right? So tainted items are super important because they provide anti heal, right? So a lot of characters, a lot of tanks, the meta characters right now, they have a ton of anti heal, ton of healing, and you got to counter that. But who is basically the ones that are designed in solo queue, to basically get tainted items? And when do you look into getting tainted items? So we got 6 tainted items. The most important characters to basically build tainted onto is Countess, Crunch, Greystone, Grux, Chimera, Muriel, Narbash, Phase, Rampage, and Sevrog. Countess has a growth based healing, right? Her R&B is gonna heal her. That's her circle thingy. And it heals more when she hits actual players. But every takedown she gets, which is a kill or an assist, up to a maximum of 10, will give her, I think, a percent of Omnivamp on all magic damage, right? Any type of damage she does, she's gonna heal. Crunch gets a ton of healing off of his ultimate being used. Greystone gets it off of his ult, so when he ults and comes back down and he's healing in that, you can get used Tainted to cancel that out. Grux is a very skill based character, and every hit he's gonna get some lifesteal stacks or Omnivamp stacks. But he's a little bit. It takes time for him to really ramp up. Um, so he's not. I guess thinking of priority on anti heal, Countess high priority, Crunch medium, Greystone can be a medium, especially if it's a good Greystone building tank and Seraphs, Seraph Mantle. It could be high priority. Grux is like a medium slash low. CC would punish him just as hard, honestly, as he needs to ramp up. Chimera, very high priority. You need anti heal. Muriel, very high priority. As if she builds Wellspring, she's going to heal and throw on a lot of shields. Narbash, very high priority. Phase, high priority later game. Still a problem overall, but she's more single target healed. The same at Muriel, but her shield is AoE, right? She can apply a lot of shields. She can apply one of her shields AoE and apply heals. Um, Rampage, high priority with his ultimate. Especially now they made it take more time for him to heal, so you're able to stack that tainted a lot better in a way. Sevrog, high priority, especially in laning phase, because he's gonna heal off of his Q, which is just his basic stacking tool. Just when he hits them, he grabs the minions. I don't know what you call it. Siphoning, I think, is that skill. So who wants to build these tainted items, right? Some of the best tainted items right now in the game is gonna be Tainted Guard, Tainted Rounds, and Tainted Bastion. Um, it's had like weird with Tainted Rounds because I like this item a lot when it comes into solo queue, but it kind of takes place of an item that will come down later in this later on, right? In here, um, in the spreadsheet, where Tainted Scepter is gonna beat Tainted Rounds. I didn't include Tainted Scepter in the best of the list, but it is actually there. So Tainted Guard, Tainted Scepter, Bastion, and Rounds. Tainted Scepter. So these two things are basically for Tainted Scepter is a mid item, but it's also really helpful for the support, right? And if you're a support phase, Decker, Bellica, Tainted Scepter as a second item is actually a very good item, as it gives you a bit of tankiness, gives you really strong magic power, it gives you time-based true damage, and it gives you ability haste. So it's actually really good for those aggressive supports. To where if you do have to deal with the Narbash phase, Muriel, and then later in the game, Chimera, that you actually don't want your carry going tainted rounds. Tainted rounds would usually get replaced by Sky Splitter. We'll discuss why later on in the spreadsheet. So The most important people that I would say that are gonna build Tainted are gonna be the tanks. So the offlaner or the jungler, depending on if they're going, if they're going steel, if they're going like the Sevrog, you do want to get Tainted Guard, and Tainted Bastion is really good for mitigation. So Tainted Bastion will actually apply more anti heal, right? Because it's technically harder to proc. It's procced off of skills. So I think you get 60% instead of 40%, and you get total damage mitigation off of this item. It's a very strong item that a lot of people, a lot of tanks will build Tainted Guard and Tainted Bastion because it does give you magical armor, and on top of that, um it also gives you the mitigation, which is super important. Tainted Guard also is really strong against ADCs. It gives you a ton of physical armor. It gives you a lot in general. It's a good item looking at it. And it applies more damage based off of just taking hits, taking basic attacks. So it's very strong against comps that are very heavy in basic attacks, right? Non-skill involved. So you will see a Tainted Guard, Tainted Bastion built on tanks, and you should consider it. Am I the person necessarily to go to and ask? Not really. I take a look at some streamers, get some information from the off lane mains. They're gonna better explain that. As a mid lane main, I'm not a big person to go Tainted, but if the team needs it, the team needs it, and I will build Tainted, a fourth item, maybe a second item if I'm against a Calendus that's really fed or a Chimera that's really fed. You know, Tainted Scepter is a good built item, but you are gonna miss out a bit on some of the really strong mid lane items. And the same thing with Tainted Rounds. As a carry player, I try to avoid Tainted Rounds because there's better items for better situations. But if I'm against a phase in Muriel and Narbash and my support's not building Tainted, and my people aren't building Tainted, then I'm gonna have to go to Tainted Rounds. And Tainted Rounds will take some of your physical damage and turn it into magic power damage. So it does kind of help, right? If they're gonna build armor, it's not a bad item to build if you see that you're a full AD heavy team you know so that's something to consider. But these are the main characters that you want to build Tainted against, and the main people that are going to build Tainted, in my opinion, are going to be the supports and the tanks. More so the carry and the mid laner should avoid trying to build Tainted unless your team's not listening. All right, the must carry items. These are the carry items that are so super duper important in the current meta, which is Demolisher and Sky Splitter. Let's first discuss Sky Splitter because we discussed it before. Sky Splitter is really good because what Sky Splitter really provides is it provides faster clear on jungle minions, on the neutral objectives, on Fang and Prime. And it helps with tanks, which is it's a very strong tank meta right now. Tanks are very strong, right? You're doing deal 2.5% target current HP as damage, and deal 5% target max HP on every fourth consecutive basic attack. I mean, it's a phenomenal item when you look at it. It gives you some good stats. It doesn't give you crit, unfortunately, but this is why I say this would replace. This is a second item. Why is the second item? It's gonna help you take Fang. It's gonna help you take prime objectives as the carry, and it's gonna get you ready for the tanks coming in. And it's a relatively cheap item, so it's a very strong item. It's a very important. It's kind of one reason why Revenant isn't really in the meta now. He outputs a ton of damage, but Sky Splitter is very strong, right? And that's Sky Splitter. That's gonna be your second item usually as a carry, usually. Very big usually. So I would try this if you haven't tried it. And the next on the list is Demolisher, the meta breaker. This is the item that if you do not build this as a carry, you are literally trolling the team. Like even only person I would say you don't build it is if you're absolutely demolishing. It's a squishy team, and you're going like Twin Blast assassin build where you go perforator. But this item is so strong. You get to deal 0 to 25% bonus physical damage to heroes, right? That scales with a difference in max HP from 0 to 1600. That's pretty wild. And you get to ignore 30% of physical armor, and you're getting high physical power and high crit. This is the tank shredder. You need this item third. I would even say bias it towards second, but Sky Splitter is too strong as it helps you with objectives, helps you against tanks, helps you against everybody. Sky Splitter is ridiculous. These two items, you need to look into adding these into your kit. So these are very important. So must caster items. These are the mid lane basically, but you could take a caster anywhere. Is Caustica. I like to build this third item almost every single time. Why? You're getting 40% magical armor shred, which is insane, and you're basically getting nearly infinite mana. You're basically getting infinite mana. It's a phenomenal item. It's kind of a pain in the butt to build, but it's a good item, and it's a third item for me as a caster, and this needs to be built more. Um, all right. So these are items that I see people build instantly, and I'm watching people, and I keep going, man, are you not watching? If it's usually the casters, usually has to do with alchemical rod. It's usually the mid laners, but I just get bothered when I see people build a Zora core first. I want to drop kick whoever is on the other side of that screen, man, because it pisses me off. It's a waste. But let's discuss it. Do I or do I not full build this item? We're going to discuss alchemical rod and Azure core first. So alchemical rod is going to give you 3.5% of your max mana into magical power. Late game, that's like that's basically that's for 1,050 gold. You're gonna get a free. You're gonna get 90 physical power, right? Plus the 15 magical power. You're gonna get around there for 1,000 gold. That is absolutely insane. It is not worth building and wasting another almost 2,000 gold to full build a Zor core. I know you're getting 40 more magic power. I know you're getting a 350 more magic mana, and you're getting the ability haste. You're actually only getting 200 max mana extra. But you're getting ability haste. It's not worth it. That extra gold goes into better caster. There's better caster items. There is better caster items that you need to get ASAP. That's why you get alchemical rod, you stack it up, and then you ignore it till end game and you sell alchemical rod for something else. Very rare do you build a Zoro core. You honestly try to avoid building a Zoro core. Some people build it if they think they need haste. If you're not going like if you have Mega Cosm built and you get a Zoro core, it can be kind of nice to have the extra ability haste. But they're just better items than building a Zoro core. Like late game you can add in Oblivion Crown. You can add in the Tainted Item. You can watch my builds later on where I discuss the mid lane builds. And there's better items than it. It's just because for 1,000 gold, you basically get free mana scaling and you get mana on top of that to spam abilities. It's just a very nice item for 1,000 gold. That's it. So avoid building Azure Core. Please, please stop. Stop. If you see someone build a chemical rod, ask them, did you watch Papaya's video? Please. They need to stop because it's frustrating and it bothers us. It bothers us, casters. It does. It really does. Ask Soul Reaper. It bothers him too. We discussed it on his stream. When you get auto filled and they take a chemical rod, you go, wow, they're gonna scale, and then they build a Zoro core first item, and then you're wondering why they're going 0-10. It hurts. All right, Soul Chalice is the next item. So Soul Chalice is basically the melee version of Alchemical Rod that you're gonna stack off of base. It's gonna turn it into physical power basically instead. The reason, so for me personally, I like when I play Wraith, I like the full build instantly into Mind Razor. But that's because you're actually getting good benefit in comparison to Alchemical Rod. You're actually getting AoE clear. So you're getting more damage around, right? Deal 30% of the damage in an area around them, which allows you to push wave faster and stuff. It's very nice for Fang Mao. It's very nice for for Revenant sometimes. I've seen people build it, but it does help with clear. Um for Twin Blast, it makes him busted. Um, and I said Fang Mao. Who else? Oh, and Wraith. Right? It helps you with the clear. So I will say it's not bad. It is not a bad idea to full build Soul Chalice into Mind Razor instantly. That's totally fine. The only situation is if you're obliterating them and they're not a good player, you're dominating. You just want to get your Vanquisher faster. You want to get your next item faster, so you just output more damage. Because it's true. If you need wave clear, full build Mind Razor. If you're dominating, then don't full build Mind Razor. Make it a second or third item. Um, so that's basically it for Mind Razor and Soul Chalice. Fire Blossom. So Fire Blossom, I should have put Brimstone first, right? Sorry, OCD people, you guys are gonna get upset on me. So Brimstone is really good because it's just a passive 12 damage per second if they're next to you. It helps out offlaners a lot for easier clear, like Sevrog, like Greystone. It helps you with junglers too, increased by 50% towards monsters. So you're getting 18 damage per second, which is super nice. It helps you clear out. It makes you a little tanky, gives you some sustain, and Brimstone's really good. The only time really you don't finish Brimstone is if you're dominating lane, there's not really a reason to build Fire Blossom since I mean Fire Blossom does do more damage, and it's really good to build Fire Blossom instantly for people like Steel, for people like Kwang, because you're gonna get that immobilized damage increase, right? So it's usually, it depends on the character. If you have hard CC, build Fire Blossom like right away because that's gonna help you out with a ton of damage. Especially if the enemy is physical armor, that's gonna do really well. You kind of only stay on Brimstone for a little bit if you're against like magic damage. So if you're against the Shinbi, you may not go Fire Blossom first. I'm not a big offlane player, so this is not really in my I can't be super confident saying when to kind of full build it. Um, but it is kind of situations when I do play my gray, my Greystone and my Steel. This is how this is what I do and what I avoid kind of in a way, and I feel like it works relatively well. So if you basically full build Fire Blossom, if you have if you can immobilize targets really well, um, you want to do more damage to the minions. You just want to be more oppressive in their physical armor. If they're magic power, then it probably can hold off on it for a bit and get some magic resist or something. But it's a very strong item, and it's an item that if you are playing in the off lane, you should definitely consider and look into adding into your build, especially if you're a tank. Um, so I I wanted to add. All right, so we got unusual item interactions. It's just a small list. I want to add more of these in the future as I learn more about them. I asked people, but I kind of want to get this video out to get people kind of building up on things. But unusual item interactions. World Breaker procs off of a dot damage. So World Breaker it's an item that every spell you hit someone with, it will basically increase magical damage taken by like 4%, I think, 3.5%. World Breaker procs off a dot damage. So if you have Mega Cosm and you basic attack, if you hit them with one spell, each tick of Mega Cosm will proc World Breaker. So after you do it, you could hit 4 stacks, which is the max stacks, just off of a dot damage, off of Fey. So it's if you do build World Breaker, it's simple dot damage will stack it, especially if you have dot damage and Mega Cosm, it'll stack it basically instantly. And then crunch abilities are slowed by Frost Guard passive. So Frost Guard slows basically it slows basic attacks, um, as its passive. And Crunch's abilities are in a way considered that. I don't know how they necessarily work, but it's something that was found by the community. So if you have a Crunch that's really strong, build Frost Guard. It's gonna help against the ADC as well. And Frost Guard is a very strong item. It's a good item to build, so I would take a look at that. All right. And that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think if you guys want to watch more of these videos, get some more information. Let me know what you think. We'll try to get as much informative things as we can. Sometimes the game feels a bit stale and it's hard to really go in and try to think of like, what should I build? What or what should I make? What videos are people looking for? And now with the influx of new people, it's I want them to send them to my old videos, but I know a lot of people aren't gonna really watch those or look at them or might not even be able to find them. So I'm hoping, I might try and recreate some of the videos, make them better, more information. As much as I even learned a lot of things. So yeah, we'll see, we'll see. But I appreciate y'all coming in, watching this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you want more of this. If this video sucked, maybe I suck. And yeah, we'll get some more things cooking. So on that note, take it easy, have a good one, good luck in your games, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.